Welcome back. So, the second half of this lesson is all about charts. In Excel, we talked about the purposes of Excel, right? To organize, to visualize, and to analyze. So, the analyze part we've really seen with these functions, right? If you have a whole spreadsheet of data, now you have the functions to be able to say, hey, here's the biggest number, or like here's the average, or here's the number of things that we have. Visualizing is really easily done in charts. Back in my day, my chemistry teacher made me plot out charts on my graph paper notebook, and it was the worst thing in the world. And then the next lesson, we were allowed to make our charts in Excel, and I thought this was the best thing ever. Let me tell you, making charts in Excel, way easier than making charts by hand. So, what are the different charts you can make? There's like 8 of them, but we're only going to talk about 4 of them. Line charts, column charts, pie charts, scatter plot. Line charts are done, and these are all used to represent different types of data. Line charts are really good at showing the change in something over time. I want you to take a moment and think. This is what a line chart looks like. When have you seen a line chart before? Usually, when I ask this question, I get answers like stocks, right? Stocks, you have it over time, you have the stock, and then you have whether it goes up or down, right? So the stock is doing well or it's doing badly. So on the bottom axis, the x-axis, it's always talking about time. Here's an example of a line chart here. So you can see the over time we have the years, and then we have the population of 3 different things. So bears, dolphins, and whales. So you can see pretty easily, bears in general over time are going up, dolphins population are going down, um, whales is kind of staying the same. I don't know if this is actual real data, but it's just the example of it. So line charts are really great if you're trying to see the change in something over time. The key part is over time. You're not going to use a line chart if you're not talking about time. Okay. Column charts and bar charts are probably the most common one, but it's the most difficult for me to explain. The best I have is it compares the same data over multiple categories. So usually when I'm teaching this in class, I just launch a poll and I have people pick a random option, and then we can see a bar chart. Every time you're looking at a poll answer, if you're choosing between like 4 different options, A, B, C, or D, you get a chart and you see how many people answer that question. The more people answered an option, like if everyone answered C, the bigger the line is, right? So here are some examples of column or bar charts. So page loading times. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 different buckets that this could fall into, right? Page loading could be super quick, could be super slow, 30 seconds. It could be somewhere in between. But it's all talking about the same thing, right? It's page loading times, is just whether it falls into one of these different categories, and the percentage of things that go into it. So column charts and bar charts are pretty common. You'll mostly see them. The only difference between them, bar charts, the columns go out. Column charts, they go up and down, right? So here's a bar chart, here's a column chart. You can make any column chart a bar chart. Just switch the axes. All right, pie chart. People love pie charts, but people misuse them. They're like a column chart, but they have to compare percentages, and it must add up to 100%. So here's an example of a good pie chart, right? So I have a pie chart of my expenses, right? All of my money is put into at least one of these categories. So if I added up this whole thing, it would be all of my expenses. I can see really easily how much of my rent is taking up my expenses, right? Versus my savings, versus my groceries, versus my transportation, etc., etc. So this is a good example because I know this is taking a percentage of my wage, right? I have all of my money, and then each chunk of it is in a different part. So when I add it all up, that makes sense. If you have something where people can pick multiple answers, it doesn't really make sense to do a pie chart. Like if I were asking about people's favorite pizzas and everyone gave me like three different pizzas, I couldn't put that in a pie chart because I wouldn't say like 10% of people like pepperoni pizza because those people may have also chosen cheese pizza. My point is be really careful about pie charts because they work well for some data, but they're really easy to mess up slash use incorrectly. So again, it's like a column chart. It compares percentages. It's got to add up to 100%. Scatterplot chart shows the relationship between two numbers. I feel like Miss Johnson. Relationship. What does that mean? So take a look at this chart, right? We have Excel, knowledge, and we have salary. I would love if this is true. I'm pretty sure these numbers are made up. But you can see what's the relationship. As Excel goes up, what happens to your salary? Well, looks like your salary goes up as well. So the higher your Excel knowledge, the higher your salary. Bodes pretty well for you all. But that's what I mean about the relationship between two numbers. So scatter plots, there's usually one number on the bottom, one number on the side, and you're kind of seeing, do these numbers go up together, or are they the inverse? As one goes up, the other goes down. All of that good stuff. Scatter plot, you use a lot in math. Here's how you make charts in Excel. You highlight the data, you go to the Insert tab, you choose a chart type that's over here, and then you click. So I'm going to go ahead and make a chart, and I'm going to pretend these are different fruits that I've sold. So I'm back on my fruit stand. I'm going to actually pause this while I type all these out. So I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so here are my random numbers from earlier. I just went and put fruit right next to it. Here's all our functions, but we don't need that right now. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and make a column chart so I can see really easily what fruit is my top seller and what fruit's not doing so well. So the first thing I'm going to do, this is a key step that people forget, is I'm going to highlight the data. I'm going to click and drag over them. If you double click into something and you try to drag, it's not going to work. If you're clicked into something, get out of it and then drag it again. Okay? You got to highlight the data or Excel's like going to make you a chart of nothing because it doesn't know what data to pull. So highlight your data. You're going to go to Insert. And then in the middle of Insert, there's this big thing that says Charts. You can always use this recommended charts thing. It's usually pretty good. But if you know a specific type of chart you want to make, you're going to pick it. So I know I want a column chart. I hover over it, says column chart. That's the one I want. If you wanted a line chart, you could do that one. Scatter plot, pie chart, etc., etc. Looks like they changed the line chart type since I did this last. And then I can see all of these different types. If I wanted a bar chart, if I wanted a 3 chart, doesn't really matter. I'm just going to choose a 2D column chart. If I wanted to edit this, I could say fruit sold stand. And now I can see really easily, wow, God, I sell a lot of apples, don't sell a lot of oranges. And guess what? I can change these numbers and it'll reflect on the graph. If I actually sold 100 apples, my chart changes. If I change it back, it changes again. Pretty cool. And there's a bunch of stuff you can do with the charts in terms of designing it and formatting it. Just so you know, you can move it around by clicking in the white part of it. If you click somewhere else, you're gonna like accidentally move a part of the chart. It's gonna be a mess. Don't do that. Just click on the white part of it, drag it around. You can make it smaller, you can make it bigger. It's up to you. But that's how you put a chart in Excel. Highlight your data, insert, chart type, click. Usually with charts, you're only gonna highlight 2 columns because one of them will be your x-axis. That'll be the first column you highlight. The second one will be your y-axis. That's the second column you highlight. All right. So this is what we just did. I would recommend you go ahead and try it on your own so you get an idea of what it feels like to put in a chart. All right. The 114 Excel assignment, there are going to be two options. You're going to choose one of them. Please do not do both. It will be good practice for you, but I'm not grading both. You're going to choose one of these two options. There is a starter spreadsheet for you to fill out, and what I'm looking for is seeing your function and your chart prowess. I'll have walkthroughs posted of those, so definitely check those out. All right. So at the end of watching these two videos, you should be able to write a function in Excel and create a chart. If you are still feeling shaky about that, definitely take a look at the readings slash take a look at, you can also look online. There's a lot of good information about that. All right. Thanks, folks. I hope to see you in class soon.